Many of the people that we work with find that certain buttons on either standard console controllers or mouse and keyboard can be difficult to either reach or press. If this is the case, then there can be other ways that you can potentially activate button presses. It may be that mounting a controller in a particular way might make it easier for you to access all of the buttons. Another way that can be helpful is to use external accessibility switches, as these can be positioned anywhere that you can comfortably and repeatedly press them. For example, some people find that having switches mounted by their head might be helpful, or potentially having them on the floor by their feet. Switches can be used for a variety of things, such as for button presses or emulating joystick movement, such as a walk forwards button for first-person games. The type of switch that might work for you will depend on the physical movement and strength that you have, and also on where you're planning to position it. There are a range of ways that you can mount switches, including wedges and trays, mounting arms, or potentially using Velcro to position them straight onto a controller. Positioning a switch in the correct place can be key, and it's also really important to know which type of switch might work best for you. The switches that we'll be looking at work in a variety of different switch interfaces. We tend to use switches that will connect via a 3.5mm jack, as these are the inputs required for the switch interfaces that we use. Now we will have a look at some of the switches that we use. The vast majority of these are digital, and whilst they can work as any button on a controller, you may find that they take a bit of getting used to if you're used to using analog triggers for certain controls. Ultralight switches are small switches that require a small amount of force to activate. They can be particularly useful for people that have limited movement or strength. Due to their size and shape, they can often be put into small spaces and can also often be used alongside one another. Buddy buttons are some of the bigger buttons that we use and can be particularly useful if you're planning to use larger movement to press them. They provide a large target, so they can be particularly useful if accuracy or accessing smaller buttons is difficult. Buddy buttons require more force than ultralights to activate them. Spec switches are similar to buddy buttons, but they are smaller, which means that you can potentially fit more of them into a smaller space. They come with a base that can be removed, and they also come with a Velcro strap. This can be useful if you're planning to use one on a wheelchair headrest, for example. The Adaptive Gaming Kit by Logitech comes with 12 different switches. They all have their own Velcro, and the kit also includes 2 different trays. They also come with stickers which can be useful for labelling up your buttons. These small buttons require the least amount of force of all of the Logitech switches. They can be a nice alternative to spec switches if you require a round switch that doesn't need too much force to activate. There are 3 of these included in the kit. There are also 4 light touch buttons included in the kit. These actually require more force to activate than the Logitech small switches, and more force than the ultralight switches that we featured earlier in this video. However, if you need a switch of a similar size and shape to an ultralight switch, but need it to require a little bit more force to activate, then these can potentially be quite useful. There are 3 large buttons included in the kit. These buttons are similar to buddy buttons, and they have consistent activation across the entire top surface. This means that wherever you press it, as long as it's with the correct amount of force on the top of the button, then you can potentially activate it. There are 2 variable triggers included with the kit. These triggers are analog, and as such can be used to emulate the triggers on a console controller. These require quite a large movement to fully activate them, and currently will only work with the Xbox Adaptive Controller, as this will allow for some analog inputs. If physically accessing buttons is difficult, then another way could be to try sip and puff switches. To activate these, you either sip or puff into the tubing, with these two actions providing two different controls within a game. If physically accessing a controller or buttons is difficult, you might want to consider voice controls. Voice controls can give you access to a wide range of controls within a game, but you might notice a slight lag or delay when compared to pressing a button. Many thanks for watching this video, and if there's anything that we can do to help with access to gaming, then please do get in touch.